influencer marketing is a tool. That's it. Influencer marketing is a tool. You being the face of the brand as somebody with influence is a tool. It's not the thing that you have to lean on. To the next topic. So the next topic the next topic, I was watching this interview because you already know there are people behind great empires. There's people behind great brands. And we talked about the Kardashians a few times, even did like a whole episode on the Kardashians. Y'all didn't really like it. And so please watch this part at least. Don't turn this off because we're not talking about the Kardashians per se. All right. We're talking about the person behind the Kardashians. Right. And it was like Emma Grede, I think her name is. Right. I know it's Emma. And the fact of, is it about the person, the influencer, the celebrity, or is it really about having a really good product is what brings in the money? So let's talk about that.
Chloe can drive you to, first purchase, but she's not going to make you come back again and again and again for a product that's, expensive. And so I had to be like very, very clear that the product was better than anything else out there for a curvy body type. And I was absolutely clear that I'd created a product that was better than anything else.
Real quick before Moose goes, I want to give a quick backstory. So what she said was she has a brand with Khloe Kardashian, right? She also has with Kim with Skims, and Khloe, I think it's like Great American, I believe so, right? And it's addressing plus size people. So like the clip was more like, yo, is Khloe bringing in the sales or is the product bringing in the sales? So go ahead, Moose. I just wanted to give that background.
Yeah, no, that part's important. And I always teach on this concept of promise and process. And your process is the fulfillment of whatever your product actually does, right? Product, service, the whole nine. But you have to meet the promise that you made when you were marketing the product through your process. Because if you consistently fail that promise, then it's clear that you don't have a good product. And if you're a service provider, if you're an infopreneur, or you're someone who uses information as your main way of making money, then that's when those bad, say, publicity or just people saying that this is a scam, that's when that starts to surface because your process did not fulfill the promise that you made up on. So you can get the best marketer in the world. You can get, I don't know why I just thought of Michael Jackson. I was like, you could bring back Michael Jackson and have him market your product.
Let's talk about it.
But if your process, does not fulfill the promise that you've made when you were marketing to the audience, the people that came with that big name, then eventually you're headed down. There is no coming back from that. So it is important to recognize in business, there are those two parts of it. Some people are better at just process creation, really for making sure that they have a superior product, one that is going to fulfill the promise that the marketer sends out. And others are better at being able to deliver that promise or market that product in a way that is captivating to those who may need it, those who may even have never thought that they were interested in such a thing, but delivering it in a way that it creates interest and says, okay, I want to try that out. So you need the two. But it is very important to fulfill the promise because if you don't, like we talked about earlier, the repeat sales is going to be difficult to come by.
Yeah, that's all the way true. That's the biggest part about it. Like you can, just based off who you are, you could bring in people. Of course, you gain trust somehow, some way. So like if we're talking about Khloe, like she gained a huge fan base because of the show, right? So the trust is there. Now, because I feel connected with you and I rock with you, you're coming out now with this? Oh, off the strength that I like you and that you were consistent showing up on this show all the time, I might as well purchase something, right? Now that's the, let me try, but I'm only buying it off of the strength of you. I don't necessarily need it because I get my clothes somewhere else, right? I found the source before. Like, she's not the first one to think of this, right? And majority of us, we probably are not the very first one to think of something. We're remixing it, niching it down, but we're not necessarily the first one. But because of the trust that we build through our personal brand to get that first sale, and now it's the product's job or us to have really good quality to be like, oh no, you got to come back because you need another one. Like, or you need to gift that to somebody, or you need to tell somebody real quick, fast, in a hurry. It's still important to have good products. It's still important to have good service. The person, the influencer alone is good for that one-time situation. So you'll spike real quick, but you will forever be chasing a rabbit. You'll forever be chasing the next client over and over again. We were talking about it earlier. Like, how is it only the community that continues to make certain things thrive and give certain brands hope that, like, yo, this is really working, and not necessarily going under the hood and saying, yo, your influence is so strong that it brings people, but we're not keeping them. We don't actually have anything really to keep them. We have to think of the actual solid product that is getting, updated all the time and getting different signals from the audience to improve certain things. No, we're just coming up with different things because of the person. So that is a pro and a con of, like, this influencer marketing and this influencer world, where people will legit just buy off of the strength of who they trust, which is a good thing, which is great to start a business. It's great to scale the business, because now you may be getting multiple influencers and things like that. And so your numbers are going to do good that season. But let's say that contract is up, or let's say that, you're not the face anymore. What now? Is the product so strong? Is the service so strong that it can sell itself? Or are you leaning too much on the people? Like, that's influencer marketing is a tool. That's it. Influencer marketing is a tool. You being the face of the brand as somebody with influence is a tool. It's not the thing that you have to lean on. Like, it shouldn't, like, they're not going to come to me if we show this person. Like, this is not going to succeed if we show you first, or if you do this part of it, or like, the product should be, that means the product isn't solid.
Yeah. That's real. Yeah, it's a fine line between having to come up with something new and improve something that's already existing. And I know a lot of times they can appear to be the same thing, but they're not. And you have to be very strategic about when is the right or the appropriate season for you to do each of those. Mm-hmm. Is your brand or business in a place where it needs something new, something fresh, something what is revolutionary to your standards? Or do you just need to improve something that you already have so that it can better fulfill the promise that you're making? Better yet, so that it can better meet the need of the people who would use it, right? And for a lot of us, I hate to say it, but I think more of us can do a better job of meeting the need than just coming up with something new. Especially, and this is how you know which side of the spectrum you fall on. If you have something where people are already buying, like you have existing customers of a product that's being bought, that should let you know, oh, let me focus on better meeting their needs. It doesn't mean that they're no longer going to come back, because again, we always use this example. Apple puts out a new iPhone every single year.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go out and try to create phone X. No, they still create the iPhone.
Yeah.
Not the X phone, the iPhone, but a different version of it, a better version of it. They keep improving it. And it's not new, it's different. And I know that sounds crazy because you're like, wait, but it's a brand new phone. It is, but it's a better phone. It's an improved phone, not a different phone necessarily, not a different product. So that's a big lesson that a lot of us need to learn for sure.
So here's a question I have for you, that I was reading a book. I'm not going to say the book just yet, but I was reading a book. And what do you feel brands should concentrate on more, like businesses with their products and services? What people need or what people want?
It's
for a successful
interesting.
Scaling business.
What people need. Okay, so let me just ask you this real quick, and not to answer your question with a question, but it does help. How would you define the difference between what's a need and what's a want? Like, just in your perspective,
It's subjective. No, it's subjective.
Okay.
Yeah, however you want to answer it. Because some people will be like, if going back to the pandemic days, like essentials and stuff like that, those are needs, right? But something that I read made me look at it a little bit different. And so I wanted your take on, should a brand and a business concentrate on a person's needs or wants?
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, when something crazy like that happens in the world, a lot of the things that could have been considered wants became needs.
Mm-hmm.
So not every person needed a DSLR camera. Not everyone needed fancy microphones and all of that stuff. But when the pandemic hit, a lot of those wants were all of a sudden necessities. It's like, oh, wait, no, I need to transport everything online yesterday. So guess what? That is no longer just something that's a nice to have. It's a necessity. So I do think those extreme circumstances sometimes really rattle up the marketplace, and it can shift it a lot of ways. But in my opinion, the needs tend to be a little bit more affordable, where the wants are a lot more expensive. So from a pricing standpoint, at least I'll say that. So it all goes back to the type of brand and business that you are. If you're someone who's a high volume, well, you can reach scale through high volume transactions at a lower cost.
Right.
Or, products or services that don't cost as much. But if you're more of a premium service or a premium brand that you probably need, you want to focus more on that want. It's like, okay, how can I create that experience for the top 20% of the consumers, 10%, 1%? Because heck, I can do one transaction a month, but that one transaction will keep the lights on for 6 months because the price is just so much higher. So that's one thing that I can think of at the top of my head. It's like price definitely plays a role into it when you're thinking of which side of the spectrum you fall on. So
I'm leaning now more towards want, because people buy off of emotion. Right?
Yeah.
And just like how you said, with people will turn a want into a need. Best example, shout out to those people who will know these terms, right? For young viewers, bear with me, I'll explain it, right? Between VHS and DVD, there was no selling of you need to buy a DVD. It was more of I want better quality. Not that you need better quality, but look, we don't have VHS. We don't even have DVDs because it's not convenient. You know, we don't want to lug around DVDs and have different, all this storage situation. It's now become, our wants have now become the new norm. So when you want to sell something, you want to go more towards a person's emotion and wanting to feel accepted or wanting to have better things or save time and like touching some of these desires. And people will pay whatever in order to get that want. Like they were explaining, like in Australia, in a certain part of Australia, it's like the worst place to have a foreign car. Like you don't want to have a very expensive car over there because of potholes and just the way the roads are. But everybody wanted a Ferrari. Why? Because it's a status system situation. Plus, only certain people were allowed to have that. So now it becomes more of a need in order to be accepted into these situations. Do you need to be accepted in these situations? No. You only need to breathe. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the only real thing we need to do is breathe, be sheltered, have some clothes because that's illegal. I mean, like, those particular things. But we feel like we need certain brands, right? We need certain things when, all honesty, if we was to break down a lot of the things that we have right now, majority of them are wants. Even from the stuff that we eat, right? Stuff that we eat, like, yo, I gotta nourish myself. You don't have to nourish yourself with almond milk. You don't. Not that particular brand of almond milk. You know what I mean? Not that particular brand of cheese. Not that particular brand of apples and bananas for all my healthy people. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that we literally buy based off the want of being accepted or our emotions being triggered. So when we're looking at it now, when we're trying to sell something, how is this product or service triggering an emotion of I want this, that I'm triggering my mind to say this is a need?
That's good.
I'm just saying.
That's good. That's good.
Listen.